Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. Today I'm going to be walking you through my current base complexion routine to achieve this kind of result. This has been highly requested over the last few years, so from my skin prep to my foundation, powder, and blush, I'm going to be taking you along the way. So without further ado, let's get started. So to begin, I use Elemis Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm, and I use this to prep my skin with. I probably sound like a broken record at this point because you're always hearing me talk about what a difference this makes in not only my routine, but also the routine I follow on my clients. I start off by applying this on and working it into the skin, which transforms it from a cleansing balm into a cleansing oil. Not only does this completely cleanse my skin or my client's skin, but it does so in a way where it doesn't strip my skin of its natural oils. You know what I'm saying? Then once I have it worked in, I'll add some water to my hands, and you'll see up close here how it transforms into a cleansing milk. It doesn't foam up, but once you see that change in color and consistency, you'll take a warm washcloth to lightly remove the cleanser. You want to make sure you completely remove this product and not leave anything behind, but this is a testament to why I adore this step in my makeup routine. It's effective, it leaves the skin feeling plump and hydrated, and it's really fantastic for all skin types. In fact, I want to say if you're somebody who finds your skin is really dry and your makeup or concealer or foundation is creasing up throughout the day, a little trick I'd recommend doing is using this product as a mask. So you'll apply it on just as you saw, but you're going to leave it on for about 10 minutes. And within that 10 minutes, what's going to happen is it's going to soften the dead skin cells laying on top of your skin. So by the time you head back to wash it off with a washcloth, it's going to work really well as a gentle exfoliator. Now moving right along, I'm using this Smashbox Photo Finish Primer and using the smallest amount of this to smooth out the pores in specific areas. Everyone's going to be a little different here, but for me personally, I don't use this everywhere. I just like to use a tad bit around my nose and also in the center of my forehead. This not only smooths out the skin a bit and brings down that shine, but it's going to help extend the longevity of my makeup where I know I tend to get oily throughout the day. But now that I have the skin prepped, I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics CC cream and applying this all over for a full coverage application. Now to keep it real with you, I'm not stuck on this foundation, and what I mean by that is I'll kind of just reach for whatever I have lying around in that moment, so long as it can be built up to be full coverage, because I do love a full coverage application. As some of you may or may not know, I have vitiligo, so I like to use something that I can bring down my neck and chest where I have all these white patches that's going to be able to cover that up. Truth be told, my body makeup routine is a whole other story, so if you'd like, I can, film another tutorial on that. But in the meantime, what's most important is how I'm applying this on with a sponge and pressing motions. Next up, I'm using the Natasha Hy-Glam Full Coverage Concealer to get me a full coverage under eye. I've been loving this concealer ever since it was released. And by the way, I want you to notice that I never brought the foundation up to my under eye, and there's a reason for that. But long story short, it's not necessary. I know I'm going in with a full coverage concealer, so it's not like a foundation underneath it is gonna make any difference. The only thing it would do is probably cause problems because you see the skin underneath our eyes is so thin, and when you layer product on top of product on top of product, it's going to weigh that skin down and cause it to crease and probably look cakey. So I like to use as little product as possible, spending my time pressing the product in with my sponge and then heading over to the Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder to set that concealer into place with a powder puff, really pressing in a small amount of that powder. Now don't get me wrong, you will see me in a moment take a heftier amount of product to bake with, but right now my goal is to set that concealer to prevent it from creasing up. And you see what that does there? The under eye on this side just looks flawless and airbrushed. The dark purple and red undertones have completely vanished, and I have that spotlight effect in the center of my face that'll look really good once I apply a smoky eye. In the meantime, I'm going to take this Makeup Forever powder foundation and use this to lightly set the foundation around the rest of my face. Now if you're somebody who likes to use a cream contour to contour your nose and cheekbones and all that, that's something you'll want to do before using a powder. But for me personally, over the years, after working so much on my own face, I've learned how to work smarter and not harder. I truly take about 15 or 20 minutes max to do a full glam, and I do that by cutting some corners, this being one of them. I skip the cream contour and blush and rely on powders to achieve the same effect. And what I mean by that is now that I have the complexion set into place, I'll take a bronzer. I'm using this one from Makeup by Mario, and with a fluffy brush, I'll lightly quickly add some warmth to the skin, focusing this placement to the perimeter of the face like the forehead, below the cheekbones, across the nose, and down the neck for a seamless blend. I'm really quite quick with this step. If I was looking to truly shapeshift and create the illusion of different bone structure, I may spend a little more time on this for the purpose of precision, but at this point in my life, I've accepted that this is my face and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So I'm happy with a little bronzer here and there for some subtle dimension. Once I have the bronzer applied, what I'll do is I'll head back to the Huda Beauty powder and use this to bake with. Now, of course, this isn't gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but it is a must for me. I get super oily around this area of my nose, so it helps keep it mattified. It prevents my mascara from transferring underneath my eyes, and more than anything, to be honest, I just really like this brightening airbrushed effect that this technique gives me. Now, I leave this here to bake while I do my brows and eye makeup, so I'm gonna do that real quick off camera and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so here we are. I spent a few minutes on the eyes and now we can wipe away what's left of this powder. You'll notice it leaves behind a subtle highlight, which kind of goes back to what I was saying a moment ago about working smarter and not harder. Even though I don't contour, because I brought that baking powder up near the bridge of my nose and right below the cheekbone, the contrast it leaves behind gives the illusion that I contoured in these areas when in fact we both know I did it. So it's a neat little trick to use. Moving right along, it's at this point that I use a powder blush and highlighter. The blush I'm going to use is from Patrick Ta Beauty in the shade She's That Girl. And I'm going to pop this right on the apples of the cheeks in pressing motions. I also like to bring a little bit of this underneath my eyes and across the nose to create that seamless transition. And then I'll take this Makeup Forever highlighter and apply this to the highest points of my face for a little glow. Usually that's on the cheekbones and down the center of the nose. Sometimes I'll apply it above my brow bone and on the forehead, but I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of texture up there and I don't want to accentuate that. So I'm just going to focus it on these areas for now. By the way, this is in the shade Anywhere Glimmer. I haven't done the best job today, have I, of mentioning the shades of everything I'm using, but I'll be sure to include them down in the description box in case you want to check it out for yourself. To finish off the look, I'll take some setting spray to melt the powders into the skin. I usually focus this application on the forehead and around the sides of my cheeks because that's where I want to have a little glow. But I'm careful not to go overboard around the center of the face because I want the under eye area to remain completely matte, which will help prevent my bottom mascara and eyeliner from transferring throughout the day. I know it's been a while since I've done this style of tutorial, but I hope my explanations were thorough and I hope some of these tips and tricks you'll find useful throughout your own makeup application. As always, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, give this video a big ol' thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram and TikTok at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.